Okay, time for a Christmassy sort of TikTok. Hopefully this won't ruin Christmas for you. It depends on how you approach the holiday. But most people have seen mashups where some sort of Christmas pageant involves the stories in Matthew and Luke about the birth and infancy of Jesus being brought together and combined in all their details, so that you have angels, shepherds, magi, all combined in the same scene. And if you actually read these texts separately and follow in particular the geographical movements and the time frames, you'll see that they're telling two very different and incompatible stories. And so Matthew's gospel has the story start in Bethlehem. They're in a house. Jesus is around 2 years old because Herod asked when the star appeared, and then on the basis of that, slaughtered children 2 years and under. They flee to Egypt and want to return to Bethlehem and only go to make their home in Nazareth because they're afraid to return home. If you read Luke's gospel, they're from Nazareth. They go up to Bethlehem just for a census. Leviticus 12 gives us information about the sacrifice that they go to offer for purification in Jerusalem, and that needed to be done within roughly 2 months of the birth. And then it says once they've done everything that the law of the Lord requires, they went back to their hometown of Nazareth. And so they're from Nazareth and they go back to Nazareth, right? So Matthew's gospel, they start in Bethlehem and they want to go back there and only go to Nazareth when they're afraid to. And in Luke's, they're from Nazareth and only go up to Bethlehem for a brief stay when they have to. And so they're actually almost the opposite of one another in terms of where they're from, and the way they make sense of the fact that Jesus of Nazareth is supposed to have been born in Bethlehem suggests that they're working independently from the same common material. They feel like the Messiah has to have been born in Bethlehem. He's Jesus of Nazareth, and they need to figure out a way to bring those two things together. If we add to this that the census under Quirinius is a well-known event, and it happened in 6 CE or AD, while Herod the Great died in 4 BC or 4 BCE, there's about a decade between when Jesus would have been born, according to the chronology of each of those stories. And I tend to use BCE and CE rather than BC and AD, simply because according to Matthew's gospel, right, if we follow the time frame, if Herod died in 4 BC and Jesus was about 2 years old when the story unfolds, then according to Matthew's gospel, Jesus was born roughly 6 years before Christ. And that's a weird thing to say. And so even though it's still the Christian calendar, tend to use BC and CE. But hope this doesn't spoil your Christmas. Think about the history and appreciate the stories for what they are. Symbolism. Merry Christmas.